On this edition of Community Insider, we're taking you into Gary Steele's Karate Studio.
We're gonna do this on crash pad. So you make some punch at me, block. Makes sense? Sorry.
So we expect and we train and we teach a lot of respect here and a lot of discipline. Of course, we have a lot of fun. It has to be a good mix, but we teach our students to say yes sir and yes ma'am and Mr. and Miss. And now the other traditions of martial arts, jiu-jitsu and weapons and kickboxing, they're not as formal. So sometimes you can use first names in those traditions. And it's just a little bit more relaxed than traditional karate, which is kind of strict and stern, but it's effective as far as the learning discipline goes.
Doug, come on up here.
Welcome to another edition of Community Insider. Join us as we travel Middle Tennessee, uncovering history and experiencing the adventure of unique stories and events coming to you inside your community.
Zigzag right. Sit high right. Left right.
Gary, how are you?
Fine, how are you, Tisha?
Awesome. So tell me about your karate studio.
Well, we've been here a long time, and we got started back in the late 70s. And we're a full-time karate school. That means we're here every day from 9 a.m. till 8 or 9 o'clock at night sometimes. And we're training young, little bitty guys and girls to senior citizens in the martial arts for a lot of different reasons, to build their confidence and to make them more physically fit, and to make them better athletes and better students at school, and learn self-defense, in case it's needed. So there's a lot of reasons that people are coming here. We've got a good quality martial arts school. We've been here a long time. We've got a real good staff. Mr. Byers, he's our manager and our head instructor. Mr.
Okay.
Green, he's one of our top instructors.
Wow.
And we've got a whole staff of black belt instructors here. And Mr. Byers is coming in the door right there.
Oh, wow. Hey, how are ya?
Hi, Tisha. How are you?
Good, good. So, as a head instructor, what kind of challenges do you face? Do you have a tournament team?
We do. We do have a tournament team in multiple styles, actually. We have a karate tournament team that competes. These are some of the trophies that you see behind you here.
Okay. Alright.
These are some of the more current ones. There's been many trophies won in the past, but these are some of the more current ones. And then, we also have a jiu-jitsu competition team that does really well also. So this is Mr. Green's up here. He won a Naga championship and all that good stuff, so that's a pretty cool thing right there.
Awesome. So, what kind of classes? What's the youngest to the oldest?
We actually started age 4.
Okay.
And then right now, currently, the oldest person that we have training with us is actually 80 years old.
Wow.
So he's and he's good to go. He'll be here actually Friday. So.
Okay.
But,
So what's the difference between karate and jiu-jitsu?
there's actually a pretty vast difference. It's it all falls under the umbrella of martial arts, but as far as the way you go about it, it's a completely different thing. Karate is more of the stand-up aspect: kicks, punches, blocks. And of course it incorporates self-defense and fitness and focus and a lot of different things. Where jiu-jitsu focuses a little more on the grappling aspect, kind of the wrestling aspect, where it's takedowns and control on the ground and chokes, joint locks, things like that.
Okay. So tell me about Sean.
He's phenomenal. He's been training with me for 13 to 14 years now. A long time. I think he was 12 or 11 whenever he started with me, and he's 25 now. So, and he's dedicated to the martial arts, that's for sure. He's been here a long time. A phenomenal martial artist. So.
Okay.
I'm really proud of him.
So he actually competes in some of the tournaments as well.
He does. Like I said, that's his as well, and then a lot of these down here are his as well. So
Okay.
karate and jiu-jitsu, he actually does both.
Okay. So tell me about you. How old were you when you first started?
Oh gosh, when I first started here, of course I was training before that, but when I first started here, I was 12. I'm 41 now, so that kind of tells you a little bit about my age, I guess. But I've been training here since I was 12 years old, and I'm a 6th-degree black belt, and
Wow.
I've been training here a long time. I've also got my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is again a different accomplishment in itself. But and then also there's some places that have set up a kind of a formalized ranking system in kickboxing and Muay Thai as well. And I was just awarded my black belt in that not too awful long ago. So.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow. So how fast is it to get certified in the different ranks?
Well, with karate, on average it takes about 3 to 4 years to earn your black belt and to be certified. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's a whole nother question. There's various ways that you can go about that and things like that, but on average it's anywhere from about 8 to 12 years. Kind of depends on the school that you're training at.
Thank you so much.
Really connect yourself to there. Get the key, you can grab it. I don't like doing that as much as just simply looking in his lap. Alright? And then from here, I like to come in and push off the hip. So now, here. And then I either go back to guard, or I start working on taking his back, all kinds of fun stuff. It kind of depends on what he does at that point. Okay? But just simply going to here is what makes this work. This is the magic part right here. Right? Because then he's got to deal with this. Right? So now, does that make sense? Sure. Spin right out. Ready to say it again? Say it again.
I started training here just a little bit after I graduated high school, which that was way back in '72. And so I started training here about 1975, and I got my black belt in about 4 years. So in about 1978 or '79, well, to start with, I was my instructor's assistant. So that's when I began instructing, back in the late '70s. And then I purchased the school from my sensei or my instructor in about 1977 or '78, somewhere along there. And then so, this school's been open ever since.
And so tell us about your instructors here at Gary Steele Karate Studio.
Well, we've got some of the finest, not only in the state of Tennessee, but in the nation. Because I've traveled all around and I've been to a lot of different schools, and I've been watching, engaging the quality of the instruction in other schools throughout America, and we've got some of the best. Mr. Byers, Paul Byers, he's our head instructor and a manager, and then Mr. Green, he's one of our main instructors. They're both high-ranking black belt instructors, and they've got a lot of experience, and they're well qualified, and they're authentic. That's what I like about them most of all. They're real black belts.
A lot of work goes into preparing for tournaments. It was in the brown belt advanced division in the gi. And what the gi is the uniform that we wear. I only had one match that day, and in those matches you're allowed to grab the clothes, the collars and stuff to be able to do chokes and joint locks and that type of thing. And I actually got that match won in about 2 minutes, so it went through very quick.
Wow. Yeah, I saw the belt this morning, so that was incredible. So what exactly do you teach your students? What classes are you in charge of?
I'm in charge from 3-year-olds all the way up to 70-year-olds. I deal with everybody that's within the school at some point through the week. And I'll do karate classes with the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, and then karate classes with the kids and the juniors and adults, and for the ones that are interested in the jiu-jitsu, I'll teach them from time to time.
This is Miss Summer Reed from McMinnville, Tennessee. She is a black belt at Gary Steele Karate Studio. And how old are you, Summer?
I'm 13.
13 years old. And what are your strengths of being a black belt? What kind of challenges did you face?
Well, being able to do it, like the push-ups and running and everything like that, was really hard because I wasn't in good shape before I started karate, which that karate has helped me with that a lot. And being able to be confident in myself was another thing, and stuff like that.
Okay. And so what is your favorite thing about being a student here?
There's a bunch of stuff. I just love everything about this place. It feels a place in my heart.
Oh, wow.
A piece of me is missing if I don't come to karate.
Really?
Yeah.
So who is your instructor here?
Well, I have 2 instructors, which Mr. Byers and Mr. Green.
Okay, and so you're in the black belt, you're a black belt in karate,
Yes.
but you're also in the jiu-jitsu class, correct?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm
So what would you say is the difference in karate and jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu is more like ground wrestling, and then karate is more like street self-defense, kicks and punches.
Okay, and so what kind of advice would you give to maybe some young folks out there that are thinking about taking up karate?
You have to try it. I mean, come and actually get into it, and don't listen to what everybody else thinks about it. I mean, it's really, really fun once you get into it, and you just be like me, and you wouldn't be able to survive yourself without coming down here.
Okay, thank you, Summer.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm Diane Martin. They call me Miss Diane here because I think I'm the grandma of all of these kids. I started training in 2010, and I'm a 2nd degree black belt now. It's great. It's awesome. It keeps me exercised. It keeps me going. I love to do art, and I do all kinds of things. I taught school for 30 years, and we were watching my grandkids up in South Carolina. They were taking karate, and I called down here to Gary Steele's, and I said, y'all got a grandma class down there? And they said, come on down, we'll see. So I've been training ever since then. It's exciting. I try to do the best I can. I can't do as good as they all can because I'm a little old, but it's great.
Cross all the way to the hip. Now you can start taking her back and all that good stuff. There you go. Make sense? Try it again, please. So now, both arms to this side of her hip. Reach back. Good. Now, push against her
developed in Japan, and it came off the battlefield, and it's a militaristic type background. So there are formalities in the old traditional style of karate that I was taught. So we use a lot of Mr. and Miss, and yes sir and yes ma'am, and we want to extend those traditions to our students. So we expect and we train and we teach a lot of respect here and a lot of discipline. Of course, we have a lot of fun. It has to be a good mix, but we teach our students to say yes sir and yes ma'am and Mr. and Miss. And now the other traditions of martial arts, jiu-jitsu and weapons and kickboxing, they're not as formal. So sometimes you can use first names in those traditions, and it's just a little bit more relaxed than traditional karate, which is kind of strict and stern, but it's effective as far as learning discipline goes.
A lot of times before class gets started, the kids like to get out here and work on the balance balls, which those are used a lot of times in yoga and things like that, but for martial arts, they're used more heavily for jiu-jitsu and building things like balance and coordination and being able to move pretty smoothly. With the kids, though, this is just about getting some energy burn off right before class gets started and let them have a little bit of fun before they get into business and working hard.
Alright, 10 kick seconds. Jumping jack, kick with each leg, and then the next one. Go! 10 kick jack.
Under to the ribs. I like to actually clip the elbow as I'm going through, or we can go to the hip, we can go to the knee as we're bringing it back through and strike. All right, so the first one is here. Bring it through, strike, strike. Very simple. Okay, so here. Does that make sense? Sure. You don't just step, all right? What I want you to think about is kind of hop into that position. So from here, guards up, here, all right? So, and you're just going to do one leg the whole way down, so you're kicking with the leg that's in front. From here, kick, bring it back, kick, set it down, kick, okay? So we're going to do 2 passes, one with the right leg, one with the left leg, all right? Let's go. Kind of hop into it. Remember, you're not jumping, everybody. It's just hopping into the position. There you go. Good. Lots of power, lots of energy. So here, all you're doing is back up, takes place in the front foot. So from here, just steps up and kick. But you're going to hop into it. Yes. Okay. You guard up. Steps up to here, and then you're going to kick with this foot. Yep, keep it straight. All right, good. We'll work on it. All right, everybody, so what they're doing right now is just some warm-up drills, and what these are is, you know, movements whenever you're on the ground, so that way it prepares you for scenarios that you face whenever you do jiu-jitsu and grappling. And all these movements mimic actual techniques that you actually put into use whenever you're grappling. So that's what they're doing right now, is using these as a warm-up, but they're also training for actual grappling purposes. Back in the back, of course, so the first thing that we're going to do from here, a lot of times people will go to what's called north-south choke. So, all right, and he's going to go to here, and he's going to try to start dropping his head to the outside of my arm, dropping his body weight, then squeezing and choking me out. Okay. I know it's a little more technical than that, but we're working on the bottom side for right now. So here's the first thing that we're going to do. And this is very simple. Once I feel this arm go under my neck, go ahead, right there, I cannot allow his head to get to the outside of that far arm. Okay? I have to keep that. So here's all I'm going to do. Whenever I'm here, I'm going to find his shoulder, all right, which is right here, and I'm going to stretch up really big and bring that in so that my bicep is real close against the side of his neck. Okay? So couple of belts now. Of course, you all know I do my belt ranking structure a little different than the traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I follow a little more of a Japanese Jiu-Jitsu belt ranking system when it comes to ranking. So we're promoting to gold belt tonight. Luke!
Until next time, we look forward to seeing you inside your community.